Hey, good morning, guys. Angelo here. Well, I'm making this video first of all to give a personal account of my feelings, sharing what's been going on in the past, I guess, 3 weeks, and to get individuals to see my heart and my feelings and my beliefs. I I grew up as Jehovah Witness and grew to have this great fear of God and the Armageddon, because that is what my grandmother. Trying to find a comfortable spot here. I know it's going to be a long one here. Um, my grandmother was the only source of religion that got instilled into me. I mean, I was baptized as Catholic, and my parents believe things, but my dad believes in saints, and he would have his Saint Lazarus, and like I'm from Cuba, so they had like a mixture of stuff going on. When I got to be a certain age, I think around probably 10 or 12, I told my grandmother I no longer wanted to continue to go to church with her, the Jehovah Witness. It didn't feel right to me. It felt very restrictive, very condemning. During that time, I knew that I started having different feelings for women. My first encounter was when I was 13. So I felt that God would judge me, and I didn't want to feel that judgment, so I didn't want to go to church. Since I was very young, I was always into the occult. I had this inner feeling, and I died when I was 1 year old. Like, brought me back, and I always had these special gifts that I knew that other kids around me didn't have. The ability of discernment. I was able to see into the future. I was able to heal things. If there was a little dead animal, I would bring it back to life. Things of that nature. And I kind of feared it. I really feared it. I didn't want it. My aunt would always tell me, Marisita, which was my female name, you need to cultivate these gifts. You've been given special gifts. You need to cultivate them. She would try to teach me with a water glass and how to put clear water glass underneath my bed, and how I could look into it and see into the future and all this stuff. And I was like, I don't want none of this, you know? As I got older, I started reading a lot of books about ESP, alter projection, all these different things, and read and got downloads and then the whole 9 yards. I've always been very spiritual, always been into the crystals, always been into all this stuff, and not knowing that all these things are messing with a realm that you really are not supposed to be messing with. This day and age, everybody's into and it's called New Age because it's been reestablished. I mean, this stuff has been around since the beginning of time, since mankind has been trying to reach into the heavens, have been trying to understand God, has been trying to understand their godly nature, so they think, and all this stuff, right? I'm guilty of that. Constantly searching, constantly wanting, that's that hunger of wanting to know, But I learned that there is a true creator, and I've learned that this creator really, doesn't want us to put our horse before our cart. We're not ready for that. That's why we're here on this earth. We're not ready. We're not ready to do things, to believe that we are something beyond our measure. Yes, we do have a lot of abilities, because we're made in God's image. But these abilities are so strong that they're not meant for us to learn yet. They're not meant for us to deal with. And the reason why is because we have not released our baggage. We have a lot of baggage, and this baggage is anger, fear, guilt, remorse, insecurities. We're defensive. I mean, we have all sorts of different things inside of us that we still haven't learned how to deal with. So if we haven't learned how to deal with these things, how can we have special powers? It's like, that's why we have all these deities that are out there that are not, they're not good, because they have allowed their ego to take over, and when you put powers and ego together, it spells disaster. Just look at the movie Star Wars, Darth Vader, the dark side. So before you are actually able to totally take in the light, and you deal with these powers, these black magic, these abilities, you're not going to use it for good, because you're not there. You don't have that ability. So in saying that, my heart tells me that all this Luciferian teachings, that all this Gnostic, occult, which means, knowledge of things of the unknown, and people are now trying to say, oh, well, occult is not bad. Occult is just these special teachings. Well, we're going to go into all that. We're going to make shows and program that breaks down all these teachings. And without mentioning any specific group of people, because I think that's where Lena and I failed. We allowed our emotions to kick in because we felt deceived. And no one should ever put people down. No one should ever call people names. No one should ever resort to lower tactics, because when you do that, you're not in the right light. You're in the darkness because you're angry, and you're using those emotions that keep us in the animalistic stage of life. When you're able to remove the flesh from the equation and you're able to go just into your hearts, then you're in a different level. But as long as you're animalistic and you let anger and fear and guilt and all these emotions run your life, then you have no business dealing with the gifts that our Father has given us. Because then those gifts will not be used for good, but they will be used for your own egotistical self. And that's horrific, because bad things happen. So we came really hard on this. And that's one of the things that Lena and I got this really bad sinus thing going on, and a tooth that has been flaring up. Well, a lack of tooth. I had to remove the wisdom tooth a few years ago, and then it's created a weird gap in my teeth. And sometimes, if I don't floss really good or something, and something gets in there, it just starts to mess up. So I apologize if I sound nasally and all that stuff. But we Linda and I tend to be extremely passionate individuals, and when we get upset, when we get, lied about or anything like that, we will go on the defense. And that's what happened. We went on the defense, and we become very OCD and Aspergery. So when we believe in something, we'll just go on and on and on and on and on and on about it, and that's just part of the Asperger autism, very analytical, very determined. We're not bailing out on our determination. We're just changing our tactics. Number one, everyone's entitled to believe what they want to believe, worship who they want to worship, and think what they want to think. What's happening to our world today is this whole PC thing is making people settle and not be as passionate and not be as determined, because everything now is about being shut down, being no platformed, being threatened with lawsuits. And you see it everywhere. You see it in the trans community. If somebody decides, no, I'm not going to call you a woman because you're a man, and they call the person by their, what the trans person considers dead name, then you have this trans person wanting to sue the individual. In my opinion, this is wrong. This is a tool that the Matrix has provided to silence people, and I don't believe that's right. It's like, who am I to tell another person what to say or not to say? Or what to believe or not to believe? But that's in that same note, who's that person to tell me I can't say what I want to say? So that's pretty much my motto. Free speech is something that is so important. And I personally, there's a few pet peeves that I have. I don't like being lied to. Lies, just, you want to see me in my Cuban temper? Lie to me. Or let me even remotely think that you're lying or hiding something from me. And number two, do not let me say what I want to say. Stop me from speaking because you don't want to hear about it anymore, or because I've talked about it too much. That infuriates me. Because if I feel that I haven't fully discussed what I need to discuss, then I'm not going to be happy. I'm not going to be happy. And I'm a very passionate person. I mean, I feel what I feel, and I'll say what I want to say. And, that's that. I mean, that's the person that I've had to learn to develop being from all the stuff that has gone on in my life. I grew up with a father that would tell me children speak when hens pee. Well, it's like, Dad, when do hens pee? Never. So, it's like, sit down and be quiet. So I don't like to be told that. I grew up with that. I couldn't have an opinion. I couldn't say anything. So I do not like that in the least. In getting back to what's happened or transpired in the past 3 weeks, being a truth seeker and always hungry for truth, I've turned many rocks to find it. When we came along Global Witnesses channel watching Jeffrey, because we were, the Christian whistleblower, trying to find, is this real? Is it not real? So in searching for that, in questioning God, Satan's going to put you in the path of all sorts of things to get you to see things the way he wants to see them. So we ran across many different channels, and from Jeffrey, we ran across, Global Witness. We literally binge watched many of the playlists, stuff that I've already read, saw. It was like a confirmation to me, like, oh yeah, so I was talking about this stuff a while back and reading about it, and it kind of sounds interesting and all that jazz. But, deep in my heart of hearts, there's always like this warning, and was it coming from the Holy Spirit? Was it coming from Father? I don't know. And I can't fully say. All I do know is that there are certain things that just don't feel right, what's being put out there this day and age regarding our abilities, and just like we're toying with dark things. And when you toy with dark things, it's like playing with fire. You will get burnt. So we're going to make videos no longer attacking any group of individuals. We love everyone. And that is one of the commandments that God has bestowed upon us. Love him with all your heart and love your neighbor as you love yourself. So from now on, everything we do is going to be in the spirit of love, in the spirit of education. And we're going to let you, our viewers, make up your mind. We're going to continue to talk about health issues, ways to make yourself healthier. We're going to continue to talk about the trans agenda. This trans agenda, in my humble opinion, is part of the agenda of the New World Order. I mean, I was just looking at my Instagram and I got a commercial for that new Celine Dion new thing. Little girl with her tongue on the side, very sexualized. She couldn't have been any more than maybe 6 or 7 years old. To me, the agendas are very pedophilic in nature. They're very sexualized in nature, and they're there to distort the family and destroy the essence of what our Creator created. And yes, I was part of that, and I drank that Kool-Aid, and I lived it, and now these are the scars that I have forever to bear. But the good news is, and there's always good news because God is so graceful, and he gives us grace, and he loves us, that he's using this old, decrepit, manly-looking, bearded vessel to reach the hearts of many. The hearts of many that have been as lost as I have been, The hearts of many that are thirsty and hungry for Father, and they're searching in all the wrong places, and they're believing all sorts of inaccurate information. And I don't want any of you to fall. I want you all to be raised up in God's love, in God's grace, and realize that you are perfect and beautiful and wonderful the way that you are. You don't need to change yourself. You don't need to take hormones. You don't need to cut your body up. You don't need to do anything to try to emulate what you feel is your stereotype. If you like to play with cars and you're a girl, if you're a boy and you like to play with Barbies, if you're sensitive and not as strong as all men should be, it doesn't mean that you need to change your gender. All it means is that you are beautifully and perfectly made in the image of God. And you should leave yourselves alone. You don't need to hide your expression. Express away. But leave yourself alone. Learn to love yourself as God loves you. It saddens him to see us not value our hearts, the heart that he has given us. And that we're valuing everything else that's outside of us over what we are inside. We're going to make a video this afternoon sometime, and go over some of the stuff that one of the videos that was removed because, we used a recording that we shouldn't have been using, and that got us into trouble. So we are going to play by the law from now on. Dot our I's, cross our T's, and make sure that how we deliver things is not a way of attacking anyone, putting anyone down, just merely stating facts, how we see it, sharing our hearts with you. Had a couple people write very angry that we've calmed them, that we change our way of thinking and this, that, and the other. No one's changed any way of thinking. We're just changing our delivery. And we're using the pure heart that our Father has given us. We weren't doing that. I believe that we were very explosive, and very judgmental in the way we were executing our message. So from now on, the comings will continue the reinforcement of what we believe in, which is that Jesus died on the cross for us, and he shed his blood, his wonderful and beautiful blood, to recreate that connection between our Heavenly Father and us. There is a lot of meaning in that, and we will be discussing this in great detail. We also believe in the living God, the living God that loves us more than we could ever even imagine. And he's showing us this love day in and day out. So that's all I have to say for now. I don't want to make enemies. I want people to reach into their hearts, and when we speak, I want people to go within and see if it resonates. If it resonates, wonderful. If it doesn't resonate, then wonderful too. Because it's all ultimately up to you and God. And all we can do is share what our hearts feel and what we believe in and bring that to you. We want to be able to help, parents that are dealing with transgender kids, that they're scared, they're confused, and all they're hearing is go take your kid to the doctor and put them on blockers and then have their genitals removed and exchanged and all that. That's all they're hearing. And in their heart of hearts, they know that that's not real, that that's not right. But they're fearful because there's no one out there speaking any other language. We want to be that other language. We want to be able to share our life story, to be able to share our experiences. I am a medical professional, so I have a lot of information to be able to share. There's so much that we could talk about to try to bring our human family together. Because even though some of us are lost, we're still family. We're still one species, one love. And we have one Father. So on that note, guys, I love you. I've been saying this since I had my, my YouTube channel back in 2006. Some people have told me, Mark, you're giving me permission to love myself. No one's ever done that. Because people always say, hey, I love you if you do this. There's always conditions into the love. But there is one force that will love you no matter what. No matter what you do, no matter how much you reject him. And that's Father. That's Abba. He loves you with all of his heart. And he wants you to do the right thing as a good father would. So I love you guys. Father loves you. He adores you. You're his apple of his eye. Don't ever forget that. But remember, and this is one of the crucial thing, remember to always love yourself too. See you later, guys. Bye-bye.